2013 edition. With us always is Matt Walker. I'm the voice of the nighttime show, Sarah Salthouse. Our guest today is best known for his work on the new Amazon Prime series Upload. It's Robbie Amell. And our host is the incomparable Stephen Kramer Glickman. Welcome to the Nighttime Show podcast.
Yay!
Hey, thank you, Sarah.
Nice.
I could tell Steven wrote
Thanks,
that because
Sarah.
he didn't have an insult about him in there, which is what happens when anybody else does the intro.
He left some blanks. I was debating saying, he's been drinking disinfectant before the president told us to.
There's a good
Stephen
one.
Glickman.
See.
That's pretty right on the money. That's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Sarah. We haven't had you on it. Well, you had a guest appearance on one of our episodes at our live
Yeah,
show.
well, Sarah, one of the biggest episodes we've ever done was the Office cast reunion, and Sarah braved LA Comic-Con with 10,000 people and stood in the middle of all of them on a platform and took questions from people. So, we
Put her
we
life
love
on
you
the
forever.
line for the show.
There were a few
Seriously.
angry moms out there. I was abused, berated, and tugged, but I was glad to do it. It was so much fun.
Well, we appreciate you being here today, and I think we're all fans of this show and of the show Upload, and it is it's a very cool show. It's on Amazon right now. You can watch it. You should watch it immediately if you haven't already seen it. But yeah, let's we have the star of the show, Robbie Amell is on the show with us today, and it's super exciting. I've known this guy for like a very, very long time, like 10 years, something like that. And he's always been very, very good looking the whole time. There's never been a time where he's not been incredibly good looking. So, and he's always been very nice, a very kind, very nice guy. So, all right, let's bring him on. Robbie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we have to start off by saying this. Huge news out the gate. Your show just got Upload just got a green lit for a second season. That is a huge deal.
Yeah, really, really exciting day. Greg Daniels phoned us last night, and he was like, he phoned the cast. He was like, "We're getting a season 2, but Amazon's not announcing until tomorrow, so don't tell anybody. But congratulations!" So,
Wow,
that's great.
man!
Ooh.
Congratulations, dude! You deserve it. That show definitely needed a season 2.
It didn't just come up on your phone with like your data has been reset. Now you have 2 gigs again.
No, I'm still, from what I know, I'm still stuck frozen. So who knows what my season 2
Yes.
has in store?
Yeah. That was very, man, what a terrific and fun television show. You got so many such a such an amazing role, and getting to work with Greg Daniels, that must have been crazy. That must have been awesome.
Yeah, Greg's a genius. He's so smart. He's so funny. But he's got no ego at all. He's super collaborative. Very easy to work with. Very down to earth. His son is also a writer on the show who plays Owen, who plays the AI guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
He wrote
God,
episode 7.
hilarious.
He's a super talented family, and just you couldn't ask for a better boss.
Yeah, Greg Daniels, one of the creators of The Office, the American version of The Office. He is just such a great talent, and so much great talent's come out of that show. So, let's go through this cast a little bit. You got to work a lot with Andy Allo.
Andy Allo, yeah.
What was she like to work with?
She's so sweet. She's very kind, very charming, which is, it really bleeds through her character, and is, super important. Her character is kind of the show. You really need to get behind her, and she's, Nathan's only real connection to the real world, and she's just a total sweetheart. She's big in the music world. She was discovered by Prince when she was younger.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. She's an unbelievable musician. The nice thing about our characters was, they got to know each other kind of along the same timeline that Andy and I got to know each other in real life. So as we got, became better friends, our characters got closer, which was just nice timing and for us, just made things easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that must have been really nice. It's also like you're no stranger to you guys were up in Vancouver, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, but you're not a stranger to shooting in Vancouver. You've been up there for all
No.
sorts of different shows, right?
Tomorrow, people, The Flash, X-Files, a bunch of little like TV movies and stuff. Scooby-Doo shot up there. It's like Hollywood North. So yeah, it was nice, but the rest of the cast had never been there before, so I got to kind of show everybody around a little bit. And when you're shooting a show, you're working long hours during the week with these people, and then normally you don't know anybody else in the city, so you're spending the weekends together too. So you get pretty close pretty quickly, which is great. And luckily we had a really tight knit group of people who all actually like each other.
When I was working on Big Time Rush the movie in Vancouver, we stayed at the Sutton place,
Oh, yeah.
and we I was up there for almost 2 months, and I shot for 6 whole days. In the 2 months, I had almost nothing to do, so all we did was get drunk and make terrible choices. That is it's a very fun. Yeah, it really is. My God, it could be a lot of fun. Vancouver's great. Did you ever go to that mini museum? Did you ever go to the Museum of Miniatures?
No, but now I will.
Oh God, it's if you ever get drunk and go to the Museum of Miniatures, and just walk around like Godzilla. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is worthwhile.
Steven, is that what you do with your action figures at home? You just set them on the floor and walk around like Godzilla?
Listen, what I do in my own personal time is my own issues, okay?
I'm looking at my Dodger bobbleheads, and I'm thinking about doing that later after this call. That's
There we go. That's a plan. That is a solid plan. Robbie, you've got this awesome career that is on a phenomenal trajectory, and you've worked on all sorts of cool stuff. I want to go back with you to how this all got started. Where'd you get started? How did this business get started for you?
I did commercials and print work when I was a kid. My mom got me into it, like when I was really young, and I was always comfortable in front of a camera. And then I was playing pretty competitive hockey, and that was 7 days a week. I didn't go on any more commercial auditions or anything. I didn't have time for it, but I still happened to have a little commercial agent or modeling agent. And the summer before 11th grade, my agent phoned me and said, "You have an audition for Cheaper by the Dozen 2." And I went in, and they really just wanted somebody who looked like they could be Eugene Levy and Carmen Electra's son. And luckily there were like 12 of us. So I read Tom Elling's sides because my character had no lines. And the next day they phoned and said, "Did you hear the good news?" And I said, "No. Do I have a callback?" And they said, "You booked it. You're going to shoot for 2 months." And I got to watch Eugene Levy and Steve Martin and Bonnie, just do their thing. And I called my hockey coach and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm not coming back next year." And I got into some on-camera classes, and I booked a show called Life with Derek, which was a Disney show that happened to shoot in Toronto. So I did a season of that. I finished high school, and I decided to give it a shot in LA. And I got here, and I blew through all my money really quickly because I was young and stupid. And I was about to, fly home and go back to school. And my nanny when I was a kid, who was like a second mother to me because both my parents worked. Her name was Agatha. She, tiny little Scottish woman, the sweetest woman, but also strong like an ox. I remember watching her lift the fridge and clean underneath it with one arm. And I was just like, how the hell did you do that? she was like a little cartoon, and she gave me $10,000, and she said, give it a real shot. And I booked my first
Wow.
movie in the few months that bought me out here, and that led to a movie that was a movie in Toronto, led to a movie in Montreal, led to a movie in Vancouver, and finally got back to LA and booked True Jackson, and that's when I was able to kind of settle in here. That's where we met.
Yeah.
And and luckily, things have been really fun since then. I didn't know how good I had it with True Jackson, the live action or the live audience half-hour comedy sitcom life of like, Monday to Thursday rehearsals, half days, and then live tape Friday with a studio audience of kids who love what you're doing, and saying the word diarrhea gets them the biggest laugh you'll ever get in your life. But I've been very lucky. I've been able to work with some really really great people, and I've really enjoyed what I do, and it's all kind of led to where I am now.
Well, Joe, True Jackson was it was an underrated Nickelodeon hit. It really was. It was a very, very, very funny show, and you had such an awesome cast. I think our second guest or third guest we ever had on this podcast was Matt Shively, who we
Amazing.
just love like crazy. Love that guy, and him and Ashley Aragota and Kiki Palmer. What tell us a little because I know you have a lot of fans from that show from back in the day. So any stories of working with them, or first introductions of meeting them?
Oh, somebody posted recently the end of our screen test online. I don't even know how they have it. Some random Instagram account posted it on their story, and me and Ash and Matt and Kiki were texting about it. Like, where'd they get this footage? And it's the four of us as just babies, because this is, we're talking 10 years ago now, 11 years ago now. And
Wow.
you can see us all just like hanging out after the screen test, and they're like, why don't you guys all stand together and smile? And that was the first time we knew that we were the four people that they were going to pick. And I mean, it's been awesome to watch them all grow up, because I was a little older than the three of them when we shot it. I think I was 20 at the time, and they were all like 16-ish. So I always felt like the kind of the older brother out of the group. So it was amazing to watch Kiki do such unbelievable things with her career, and Ashley and Matt as well. So it's always nice when we get back in touch, with Kiki posting that TikTok about a True Jackson reboot, which was just total Kiki Palmer like prank type stuff, where there was no truth to it at all, which I just think is hysterical. But at the same time, you do that, and it gets people talking. So who knows if anything will ever come of it? But that would be a lot of fun. And I don't know. It's
Wow.
they were really sweet, awesome people. I've been really lucky to not work with any assholes, for lack of a better word.
Oh, yeah, that is a lucky thing for sure. Have you ever worked on a project that you were like, oh God, why is this? Why no, dear God? Have you ever been on a set where you just wanted to run away? You don't have to say which one it was, but have you ever had a rough set experience?
I actually haven't. I've been really lucky. I mean, I think part of it is kind of the mindset and the attitude that I bring with me to set. I'm a pretty happy person, and at the same time, I'm getting paid well to do a job that is better, or that I consider more fun than I would 99% of jobs out there. So it's
Right.
tough to come to work and be like, oh, the fuck are we doing today? Like, it's I'm a pretty happy person when I'm being paid to be an actor. And I mean, I'm not one for drama within on the set and stuff like that. So I've been lucky. I've learned from a lot of good people that set a nice tone on set, and I also think the industry has pivoted a little bit in the last, maybe in the last years, kind of since I started out in it, where you used to be able to get away with being a diva or being an asshole, but these days I just think there's so many actors and actresses out there that I just don't think people have time for it. I mean, unless you are Meryl Streep, which I'm not saying Meryl Streep's a bitch. I'm sure she's a sweetheart, but
Yeah, no, no,
even if she was, she could get away with it
Yeah.
because she's Meryl Streep. But I think for the most part, people don't want to spend 12 hours a day with someone who's a pill.
Yeah, no, I think you are right about that.
Hey, a quick thing I want to talk about, Mike Black. I think this is something that we really should talk about, and it's a company that was founded in 1983 in Tokyo, Japan. Of course, I'm talking about the Zoom Corporation.
Zoom.
Now, if it wasn't for Zoom, and Matt knows this, we would not be able to do our show. They make the best audio equipment in the world. Which one are we using right now?
We're recording onto a Zoom LiveTrack L8 right now, and when we go do our live events at conventions and stuff, we often use the Zoom H6, and they're both just fantastic pieces of equipment. You plug your microphones in, you plug your headphones in, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, whether you're a classically trained pianist or a run-and-gun filmmaker or a podcaster like us.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do a ton of podcasts, and I can tell by listening when they're using a Zoom and when they're not.
Yeah,
It's the mark of excellence.
It really is. Go check out all their stuff over at zoom-na.com. That's zoom-na.com. Be professional, for God's sake. zoom-na.com. All right. Okay, let's get back to the show.
Sarah, I know you have some questions.
Yeah, well, I first of all watched Upload in a day.
Cool.
I was
Yeah, it's very
supposed to be
bingey.
working. Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it again. It was spectacular.
Thank you so much.
I have an obnoxious question.
Bo has questions.
Bo got very excited.
Yeah.
He's like, "You've been quiet." All right. So there's like so much cool tech on the show that I love. What was probably your favorite tech piece that maybe might come true one day?
I really, really like the memory parlor, where they project one of your memories onto a screen in front of you that you can watch. I just think that's such a fun and interesting idea.
Yeah, that was definitely a really cool
probably
part.
it's probably one of the ones that's a little further down the road, but if they can ever figure something like that out, being able to actually see your memories, I mean that's just a really cool concept.
I think the most doable one was the plant garden hanging on somebody's balcony. I think we can actually make that happen. That's
There's gotta be one of those out already.
I was like, oh, that's a pretty good idea. Well, I've never seen those before. That seems pretty good. I should get one of those.
Why are we doing a plant garden? We should totally do that.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Yeah, Shark Tank. Go to Shark Tank with that one, Matt. That could happen. That could be a thing. I did like the way that they did the cell phones on it, of having it built into the, as part, like kind of in the hand, I thought that was really well done. And I thought the actress who played your girlfriend, fiance on the show, man, did she play just a terrific kind of bad guy, but also, she
love
redeems
her.
herself. You love her.
Yeah.
She's surprisingly cool.
She's so sweet in real life. She's one of those people that can say things that most people would get, destroyed for, but she says it and you're like, oh, I kind of love her. She's a bitch. She's like, she's so sweet in real life that she can get away with it on screen. And I love shooting with Allegra. She cracks me up. She's really, really funny.
Yeah, they did some smart things with her character too. There's some very smart writing moves that they did there. Like, there's a moment where your niece is like, "Don't let her." It was something about her hair. Like, don't.
Yeah, Nora says, or I say, don't let her change your hair. Don't let her.
Change your hair.
Don't let her. Yeah, and she's like, let's do our hair the same. And then
Yeah, and then
her
the reaction to when she says that is you're like, oh God, she's the worst. And then it comes back
yeah,
and she's done her hair to look like your
and it's
niece or
so
your
sweet.
cousin. And it's so sweet. And you like her more because of it. Like they did things like that with her character where you keep thinking that she's gonna kind of be a worse person or that she's not as kind or whatever, and then they find ways of kind of making you realize that maybe you have the wrong impression of her, which is
Well, I think,
very smart.
yeah, I think that the show, although everything's done in a comedic way, and I think Greg rides a fine line of posing interesting questions but never preaching them or shoving them down your throat. I think, the show asks, are we the decisions we've made, or can people change? It's kind of don't judge people, you know, at first glance or book by its cover, the old cliche. And I think there's some interesting questions about the division of wealth and how it would continue into the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
If it's created by people. Would the digital afterlife have the same problems that our world has if it's created by man, so to speak? Because everything's a business, and people are greedy, and I just think that it makes it interesting to watch. Greg always said it's not a utopia or a dystopia; it's a middletopia, and I think it feels more like life. And it would get a little boring if everything was perfect, and it would definitely be tough to watch as a comedy if everything was awful.
Yeah, I think that's definitely
Right.
comes through with the David Choke character, who's based on David Koch, obviously. To watch, there's like this rich billionaire who clearly was not a good person in life, and now just gets to roll over on everyone and do whatever he wants because he's got all the money even after he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole, idea of like whoever dies with the most toys wins, that type of, that thing was like if you get to play with them and you get to bring your money into your afterlife, that is a very interesting concept. That is, especially how you end up at the end of the season, with Frozen. It was like, out of gigs. I mean, it's a hell of a way to end a season like that. I think it left everyone kind of going like, well, God, I hope that they do a second season, because if not, like, it is really, it's a hard ending, man. You're sitting there going, God, I hope, I hope this guy, something happens good for this character.
You can't pull any punches. You got to lay it all out there in season one, and then when you season two, you figure it out. The nice thing is Greg actually thought of this concept over 30 years ago when he was writing on Saturday Night Live, and he had season 1 and 2 fully mapped out before we started filming. So they've already had a writer's room open in the hopes that the show would premiere well, and luckily it did with the renewal. They're already hard at work on season 2. So as soon as the world is a little bit back to normal, I think we'll be back into filming. So it shouldn't take as long for season 2 to come as season 1 did. Season 1 was a long process. We shot the pilot in January 2018 and season 1 in February, March, and April of 2019. So it's been over 2 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you get to spend any time with Mike Lawrence? That is a big question.
No.
Okay, we have to find a way to get you to spend some time with Mike Lawrence. Mike was one of the writers on the show, and
I mean, like,
he is.
He didn't come up to Vancouver. I went into the writer's room beforehand. So I mean, by like an hour, and we went for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So we have met, and I spent time with him and the other like 7 writers.
If you want to impress him, find
maybe
the most.
He did come up for I can't remember which writers came up, because they only they only let them come up for like a minute, you know.
Well,
yeah.
if you want to impress him, just find the most obscure piece of Marvel trivia that you can imagine about a comic book in like 1962, and mention it to him, and he'll know what you're talking about.
No,
yeah,
when
he is.
when
He
we
knows
had lunch,
everything.
Yeah.
we geeked out a little bit talking about. I had been on the flat, fairly recently at that point, because this is a couple of years ago. So we geeked out a little bit talking about comic books and superheroes. But I was talking to him about stand up, I think, because stand up just fascinates me, and I love. I believe he does stand up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how we know
Okay,
him.
so I was
Yeah.
okay. So I was talking to him about that. Stand-up comedians fascinate me. I just think it's the most terrifying thing in the world to me. But I love watching comedy. Anyway, I really liked him. I didn't get to spend that much time with him, and I'm trying to remember if he came up to Vancouver. But Vancouver's like, we shot the entire thing in 2.5 months. So Vancouver, and I was doing Code 8 premieres on some of the weekends. So Vancouver is a blur to me.
Yeah.
But all the writers were awesome.
And real quick, Stephen,
if you ever get a chance, just sorry to interrupt here, but Zainab Johnson, who's on the show, Zainab and Mike Lawrence have done. We've done Matt, who's on here with me. We've done tons of stand-up shows with Zainab Johnson and with Mike Lawrence over the years, and she is an unbelievably funny stand-up comedian. I mean, she's brilliant.
We saw Zainab do stand-up while we were in Vancouver. She did a show, and the whole cast went to see it, and she had us absolutely in stitches.
Yeah, did she do the bit about her mom thinking that she could get married again with 10 kids? That's one of my favorites she ever did.
No.
It's so funny.
No, but now I'm going to ask her about it.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick before we continue the show, I want to talk about a third-generation, family-run business that I am very proud to be working with. Sennheiser is the top tier microphone company in the world, and we are so lucky that we are now recording our show using Sennheiser microphones and their headphones. It's awesome.
We're talking into Sennheiser MD42 microphones and using Sennheiser HD25 headphones, and these sound amazing.
I mean, listen to Mike Black's voice.
Listen to the rich and sumptuous soundscape that comes out of my voice.
Oh.
Every time I speak into a Sennheiser.
Absolutely. Go check out their microphones and their sound equipment over at Sennheiser.com. All right, let's get back to the show.
Okay, all right. So we have to talk about Sarah. Give us another question. What else you got?
All right. Gray market. That whole concept just intrigued me. I want to know what you would get from the gray market.
Oh man, that set was so cool. I'm trying to remember what was at each of the little booths. The puberty power up to me was just such a funny concept.
God, that was so great.
Greg is so like only Greg would think of something, or at least someone in Greg's writer's room would think of something so weird and so funny. And I love that it was a tattoo. I don't know.
Brilliant. It really was.
Yeah. Now I have a question
think
about
that's
the show.
The funniest thing.
So
yes, of course.
So we're watching the show, and Zainab Johnson has to jump into the body of that guy who's missing, who you see his hard drive later up on top of the lights when they're doing the party, right? And she has to dance, so you see her doing the dance, and she's physically dancing in the room while she's in VR. So to me, that says, okay, then they're acting out the stuff they're doing while they're like in the VR. But then later on, there's the scene where your angel walks on water, and you fall into the water, and then it cuts back, and you see her, and she's laying down at the time. So I was wondering, do they actually have to act out the things in real life or not?
No, in our world, I mean, first of all, it's a comedy, and stop poking holes.
You son of a bitch, Matt.
Second,
why are you poking them holes?
This
The
is
way
what
I-
Star
the way
Trek
I
fans
see
do
it
when
is
we watch sci-fi. This is what we do. I'm sorry.
So at this point, I think in our world at this point, the technology, you don't have to do that. But I think it's
Okay.
when people get swept up in what they're doing, because you see it as well when Nora and I are singing Uptown Funk in the second episode.
Yeah.
She's dancing at her desk, and that doesn't
Right.
necessarily mean she's doing the same thing in real life. It means that she's lost, she's just kind of lost herself in it, and is enjoying it in the real world as well as in the upload world. So you don't need you don't need the multi-directional treadmills like they have in Ready Player One. It's more of a think of it as like a mental projection or whatever.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
But if you're enjoying yourself so much in the real world, you can you can live it out there while doing it in upload.
I'll accept it.
I love it.
All right.
Okay, good. Thank you, Matt. Okay, quick couple very quick things before we let you go. Code 8, Jeff Chan is a genius. You're amazing in that movie, and you got to work with Steven in that as well. What was that like, getting to be on screen with him and getting to work with family on a film?
It was awesome. I mean, yeah, Jeff Chan is a genius. He really spearheaded the whole project from the beginning. He and I self-financed the short film for $70,000. We just decided to take a chance on ourselves. And
oh my
luckily,
God, amazing!
Yeah. Luckily, it went viral, and we front page Reddit, and we turned a small Indiegogo campaign into $3 million from over 30,000 backers, and we. It was an experience I'll never forget. Steve, getting to work with family and friends, because everybody that worked on the movie just worked their ass off and really cared. The amount of sweat equity in the movie is crazy, which is why it feels so much bigger than it actually was. But getting to work with family, we worked on The Flash for a minute together, but they didn't let us talk because they just thought it would be too weird.
Well,
so
that's my other question for you is that as being part of as part of the Flash universe, are you more drawn, if you do you have an allegiance to the DC universe? Like if you were going to play a superhero in a Marvel film or in a DC film, do you have a choice or something that you would like to jump in and do? Like, is there a chance we're going to get to see you down the road in one of those films? Because it sure still feels like could be next.
I have no allegiance. I grew up the biggest Batman fan ever. But
Wow.
with that being said, I didn't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, and I love those movies. Thor was not one of my favorite superheroes. I didn't really care about the Hulk. I thought they were fine. And Thor Ragnarok is my favorite Marvel movie. So it's one of those things where there might be a superhero I've never heard of that could be the superhero I would most want to play. It's just they're so good at what they're doing that I don't discriminate. Whatever superhero Marvel wants me to play, I'll do it.
100%. I know we have to let you go. I just want to say this. I think you're a terrific guy. You've always been incredibly kind and very just like a very easygoing person, and I think where you are at in your career right now is phenomenal. This TV show is great, but who you will become, like who we will see, like Robbie Amell in 5 years from now,
We won't be able to get him on
the
the
sky's
show.
the limit, man. Yeah.
He'll be too big for the show.
Exactly.
And real quick, before we
That's
let
really
you go,
sweet. Thank you.
one thing I have to say is that when you're on the set for season 2, when you see Chris Williams, please tell him that we all say that Crazy Eyes Killa is probably one of the greatest TV characters of all time.
I will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's
So
awesome.
great.
He's. I mean, we got to spend one episode together. He's really great. And thank you for that. I really appreciate you saying that. I've always enjoyed our time together, and I feel the same way about you. Good. It's always nice to hang out with good people. So I appreciate you having me on here.
Thank you, Robbie.
You bet, man. And hey, Robbie, if your mom is a fan of 90 Day Fiance,
yes,
please let her know that we have an episode
with Big Ed.
Like basically
I'm gonna
just
show
made
it to her now. It's my mother-in-law.
All right,
It's Italia's mom. She has watched every single episode. My mom hasn't gotten into it, but that doesn't mean she's not going to be just as big a friggin' fan.
well, we did an episode with Big Ed from 90 Day Fiance, and holy dear God, if I never have to talk to anybody from that show again, it won't be too soon. But it was very interesting. It was very interesting to hear what they had to say. So, worth checking out. But you're the best. Thank you again, buddy.
Thanks, Robbie.
Thank you. Good talking to you. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Robbie.
All right.
Thank you.
Be safe. All right. Bye, bud.
Bye.
God, oh wow, that was a lot of fun chatting with him. Wasn't that great?
Such a nice guy. Yeah.
Oh my God, I fell even more in love.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm in love with him too. What a sweet guy. He's very kind, very cool.
Yeah. Now is he also Canadian like you are, Stephen? Because he kept mentioning playing hockey. I didn't want to interrupt. I assume he is.
I think he is. Yeah. He is Canadian. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's from Ontario, Canada.
That's why he's so polite.
But
yeah.
I know. Can't get him to say a bad word about anybody or any set. I mean,
except Meryl Streep.
This is a polite.
Except Meryl Streep. He called her a bitch.
Dug deep into Meryl.
He did not call her a bitch. He said if she was a bitch, do not do that.
I'm gonna edit around that clip. Put it out. We'll get that in TMZ.
No.
Meryl Streep's bitch.
That's the clickbait.
Oh man, good God!
No, he would never say that.
Yeah,
obviously, he would never say that.
No. He's wonderful. Matt, I do appreciate you that you grilled him on the tech of the imaginary tech of their television show. It's that's very Matt Walker.
That he's just acting. It's not like he's the guy writing it either. Anyways, it wouldn't be his fault.
Yeah, he's like, "What are you talking?" Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Well, here's how it technically works." You're like, "Oh my God, Matt."
I got him as rude as a Canadian can be to come back at me, and he's still very polite. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In Canada, that conversation was World War III.
Yes.
You know? It's like, I can't believe. Anyways, Sarah, where can people find you? Where can people get you in the world?
You can get me on the Instagrams at the S Salt House. If you go to the Salt House, you get my sister, and she'll be annoyed. So also follow her.
So you should do both.
Oh, great. Okay, great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What about and are you using
You're TikToking.
TikToks? You kind of showed me how to use the TikToks.
I am on the TikTok. Same handle, the S Salt House. You can see my dog judge me for my drinking problems. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Matt, where can people get you?
There are links to everything at funnymatt.com. And if you're Robbie's agent, you can let me know what you think of my questions at mattwalkersucks.com.
Yeah. I mean, then that's fair. People will do that. You can always get me at Stephen Glickman, STPHEN Glickman on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Don't forget to subscribe to the Nighttime Show podcast and share it with your friends. If you're listening to this right now, literally go grab the URL and post it on your Facebook. Tell your friends, or don't do that. You don't have to do that. If you don't want to do that, don't do that.
No,
you know what you could do?
No, they have to do it.
Just call 5 friends on the phone and say, if you haven't listened to the interview with Robbie and Mel on the nighttime show, you're missing out. And if you don't do that, well, then you're a fucking asshole. All right, that is just that. I mean, if you're listening to this point and you are not telling people, then I'm disappointed in you personally. But I appreciate you listening to the show. Thanks so much for being so great. Don't forget to comment and tell everybody and be kind to one another. Be kind, and don't forget to watch Upload.
Were
on
you just
Amazon.
doing a Jerry's final thought to end the podcast?
I might have.
Remember
I might
to be
have done
good to
that.
yourself and each other.
Be to yourself and each other. Yes, I'm Jerry Springer. All right, that's about as good as it's gonna get.
Okay.
Stand